Hey church family, thanks for joining us for today's Daily Connection video. We are talking about how God provides for us in our time of need. Right whenever it's necessary, God gives us what we need. And God gives those who are doing ministry what they need. And we talked about this in day one. Brother Brent continued yesterday looking at verse 16. We talked about how, on day one, how God was providing for the needs of Paul to go and do ministry all over the world. He's providing specifically through the Christians there in Philippi. And so Paul continues to elaborate on that in verse 16, which is what Brother Brent talked about yesterday. And then today he continues to elaborate on that in verse 17. So let's jump right in. Let's read verse 17 and let's look and see how that kind of applies to us. So verse 17, it says, "Not that I seek the gift, but I seek the profit that is increasing to your account." So Paul is being real clear about the finances that they're sending him. He's saying, look, I'm not seeking that you would give me money. Paul is not trying to store up treasures on this earth. I think his lifestyle makes that really clear. If Paul wanted to store up treasures on this earth, he would have never left his job as a Pharisee, right? He could have been very wealthy, very taken care of as a community leader, as a Pharisee, a great Pharisee at that. No, Paul clearly is not trying to build up treasures. He is like a nomad traveling all over the world, being beaten, being jailed, being shipwrecked, constantly finding himself in difficult situations, and he's not making a penny doing it, right? At one moment, he even has to go and he has to make tents because he doesn't have enough money to continue on in his ministry. He has to wait until a gift is brought to him by Timothy. And so Paul is being clear, like, I'm not seeking, again, I'm not trying to make money. No, I'm doing this because of what you are gaining, what's being added, the profit being added to your account. When I was at First Yazoo, we had an administrator there for a little while named Taz. And Taz used to say this phrase all the time. It was so cheesy, but I tell you, it's as true as can be. He would say, hey, come and volunteer for VBS, or come and work with the students, or come lead a small group. And he'd say, hey, the pay ain't great, but the benefits are out of this world. And that's true. And that's really what Paul is saying here. Hey, man, I don't care about the pay. All I know is that the money that you are providing Christians in Philippi, it is creating a profit that's far beyond my pocketbook. It's creating a profit that is eternal, a profit that's being added to your account. And look, that is so true. Like we mentioned earlier this week, there are times when we just can't go to the other side of the world. You and I can't. We're called to do ministry here in our own communities with our own families. But whenever we give our money for ministry to happen over there, man, we are making an eternal impact, right? We are giving, and the benefits for that giving, they're out of this world. And what Taz meant whenever he said that is, hey, these benefits are benefits that we'll see in the kingdom of heaven. When we stand before our King and he says, hey, you gave, therefore this happened. Man, I hope that will be a motivation for you. A motivation as you look at your finances on a month-to-month basis to say, man, we have a little extra disposable income here. How can we use this? How can we leverage this money? $30, right? $100. Some of you guys maybe more than that. How can we leverage this money to be used for the gospel ministry that God has called us to see propagate all over the world? All right, so our church family, I have a couple of questions for you that our author gives us. The first one, how do you spend or invest your resources? When you have money, when you have disposable income, how do you spend it? What is the most important place for you to put your funds? And the second, how can you improve on this? I'm sure that as you look at your finances, just as I look at my own, we can find areas that maybe we could do a little better job, right? Hey, we don't have to have that McDonald's, okay? I know 57 Nutrition has some great loaded teas, but maybe we don't need one every day, right? But what could we do if we were to save just a little bit more? How could we use those resources? How could we improve on that and see people hear the gospel? Man, there are tons of organizations that are reputable, that are solid, that you can give to, that the gospel would take in all over the world. You can give to a benevolence fund right here at this church, and that money won't be used for anything except to help people right here in this community. There are tons of the Community Care Network being one. There are tons of other community ministries that exist that man, they have to have money to survive. You and I, whenever we have resources to give, can give, and we're not just given just to see them continue. No, we're given to see an eternal impact, and who knows how God may use those resources. That's part of us being a steward, understanding That money we have is not ours. It's a gift of God that He's given us, and we need to do everything we can to turn around and give it right back. As you are looking at your own finances, I hope that you will look for those opportunities to give back and see the gospel go all over the world. As you're doing that, church family, I want you to know that we love you and we're praying for you.